Hello and welcome into Touchstarved. I am actually so excited to be playing this demo for you. I originally played this demo right when it came out. This is the first game that I ever supported on Kickstarter, and it's supposed to come out late 2026, possibly early 2027. I have been backing and keeping track of this game and been so excited for this game since I'm pretty sure 2023, and I wanted to play the demo before it comes out. I wanted to get the hype up a little bit, so I'm gonna start a new game. And I've played the demo twice. They updated it once, I think, so I have played it twice, but it's been a while. Okay, disclaimers. Streamers and content creators should set music to 0. Oh, I should probably do that. Touchstarved is intended for an older audience. It contains mature content that includes, but is not limited to, horror, graphic violence, strong language, alcohol and drug references, injury, and dismemberment. Player discretion is advised. I don't think that the demo goes into anything crazy. There's a violence for sure, but other than that, there's just a little bit of alcohol. Okay, please click to proceed. Tutorial. In Touchstarved, your choices matter. The decisions you make may result in unique dialogue, interactions, or even choices in red text, which contain exclusive content. Try playing through the demo more than once and choosing different options. You might even uncover a secret ending. And remember, there are no wrong choices, only interesting ones. Choose wisely and save often. I already know what name I'm going for. This is what I went for when I first played it, so I'm gonna go she, her. This world began to unravel long before you were born, and there's no voice acting in this demo, so I'm gonna do my best, but when the full game comes out, everyone's gonna have a voice actor. Okay, I'm so excited. I love this demo. Okay, sorry. It all started with fogfall. Spectral mist bled from the seams where reality wore so thin it split. And from that fog emerged monsters, inhuman beings with unnatural powers. Some possessed language and intellect, others were mindless beasts driven by little more than bloodshed. As unrest spread and cities fell, humans cowered in fear while monsters thrived amid the chaos. And then there's you. I'm so excited! You don't know what you are, but one terrible truth is certain. You were born cursed, with hands that alter the minds of those you touch. Choose your backstory. This game is so cool. I feel like this is a very unique thing to have. So your backstory, your origin, gives you different dialogue options and different interactions you can do. I do like a fallen oracle, the unnamed. I like this one a lot. I'll just read them. I'll read them for you. The unnamed, a fallen oracle. You were raised as an oracle in a remote temple. The priests claimed your touch bestowed enlightenment, but a visiting mage revealed your curse for what it is. Spurred on by the mage's word, you fled in search of the cenobium. You regularly experience unnatural premonitions that rattle your body and soul. An innate sixth sense gives you a heightened awareness of hidden supernatural presences. The exile, a solitary survivor. You were exiled to a life far from civilization. Your only kinship was with an elderly hermit who taught you how to survive in the wild. He lost his life in search of a cure for you, but left you with a final lead to pursue the cenobium. You're a seasoned survivalist, well versed in deciphering soulless behaviors. You've gained fluency in various languages and an uncanny intuition for detecting danger. And finally, the alchemist. An abandoned mage. In exile, the Zenobia mage took you in as a child, raising you as her apprentice. She seemed to take pity on your curse, but you discovered that she was cultivating you as a test subject. You fled to the cenobium seeking a cure. You're an experienced spellcaster with an encyclopedic knowledge of alchemy, spellcraft, and history. With a little observation, you can identify the subtle effects of magic. Now, I have a feeling that the exile is going to be pretty popular. And in the full game, I'm probably going to pick a Fallen Oracle. So I think that we should go for the Alchemist. There was another choice where you were like an underground, you were a thief of some sort, you knew the inner workings of like an undercity, very female main character choice, but they took that out and replaced it with one of these, probably the Exile. Anyway, like forbidden lore that was lost. I'm gonna go with the Alchemist. Yes, I'm so excited. Your name is Ivy. You selected she, her pronouns. Your backstory is the Alchemist. Is this correct? Yes, I'm gonna go for a save. I'm gonna go for a save. I already have a couple of save files. I guess it did save what I already had, so that's good. So cinematic. I love all of the drawings, even in the demo. Okay, the wasteland stretches as far as the eye can see. There's nothing out here but death, the ever-present stench of decay, and countless sun-bleached bones cast like seeds across the barren land. It's a little weird without music, I won't lie though. I could say death doesn't scare me, but honestly, I'm desperate. It's been 2 weeks since I joined a caravan bound across the waters, or the wastes. Already messing up. Finding a group that would accept me was a trial in itself. I can hide my hands and deflect probing questions, but sooner or later, people always suspect something strange about me. As rations grew sparse and canteens ran dry, tensions rose, despair began to set in until I saw it. Our city! This is so cool. Aridia, the city of knowledge, one of the last bastions of humanity left in the world and home to the famous academy called the Cenobium. I really hope that I'm pronouncing everything okay. All of the world's knowledge gathered in one place. If there's anywhere I'll find a cure for my curse, it's there. It's so cool. I love the like architecture. I don't know what it's inspired by, but it looks so cool. All that stands between me and a new life is a final stretch of salt-soaked wastes, or so I think, until I see the first tendrils of fog snaking beneath the wagon. Is this fogfall? My stomach sinks at the very whisper of it. A silent storm, more devastating than fire, dangerous in cities, but a death sentence beyond them. A thick blanket of fog engulfs us, snuffing out the lantern's light. The wagon lurches to stop. An eerie silence, heavy as the mist, falls over us. The only warning we get is a strangled scream. Stay back! No! The cry dissolves into wet gurgling. Then the wagon violently pitches to the side. I hit the ground hard, and the air punched from my lungs. When I open my eyes, adrenaline lends sudden, awful clarity to the carnage around me. I'm gonna try to use my keyboard instead of clicking my mouse really loud. A trader I once shared bread with lies face down in the mud, their back reduced to long strips of torn muscle, gleaming gristle, and exposed bone. Bodies litter the wasteland. I try to rise, but my ankle explodes with pain so blinding. White blossoms across my vision. Only when my eyes fully adjust do I see the dark shape before me. A soulless stoops over the twisted form of a caravaner. I freeze, but it swivels its head. A dozen bulging eyes twitch in my direction and blink as one. So... Oh my gosh, it's so cool. Is this not like such a cool design? I love it. I like the finger like spikes. They're kind of fingers and then they go into spikes as the fingernails grow longer. That is just so cool. I love the design of everything. I can tell that they like really spent time thinking about it. Okay, the soulless lets out an ear-splitting shriek and charges me. But right before it reaches me, the beast barrels past, vanishing into the mist. A horse screams in the distance. I need to move now. I am going to run for the city or head towards the wagon. It'd probably be good to hide, but while it's distracted with the horse, I'm gonna run for the city. I take off, running deeper into the haze. The fog is so thick. The fog is so thick that I fear I'm headed in the wrong direction until I see a dim pinprick of light emanating from the shadow of a spire. It's faint, but it's enough. I came too far to die here. Rapid footsteps echo all around me. I turn in circles, frantically searching the opaque mist for the source, but the fogfall twists and stretches around. I really like the word fogfall. I like a weird thing for alliteration. So fogfall is such a cool name. Suddenly the caravan's driver bursts forth from the fog. Our eyes meet too late. He knocks me to the ground and slips in a patch of mud. The solace instantly falls on him. It catches the driver by his throat and rakes his stomach with razor-sharp claws. He comes apart like wet paper, spilling intestines and viscera in a steaming tide. Fighting the urge to heave, I claw frantically through the slippery muck for a handhold. Shoot! My hand catches on the jagged edge of a rib jutting from the water. Bandages unfurl around the gouge torn deep into my palm. But the pain's quickly forgotten when a hand closes around my wrist. Oh no, can you stand? One of the travelers from the caravan leans over me. We need to run. They reach for my hand and I realize too late that my bandages have come undone. No, don't touch me! The sensation of their thumb brushing the back of my hand sends a shiver down my spine. All it takes is one touch, and in the space of a breath, my curse takes hold. Ugh, scary. Their lips peel back into a deranged grin. Ha ha ha. No, I've seen this face countless times before. This is my curse, madness of my own making. Their grip on my hand tightens until pain radiates from my knuckles. Let me go. Suddenly, clammy hands crush my throat, choking off my breath. Die, die. Spit bubbles at the corners of their mouth and flex my face. The edges of my vision darken as my lungs shriek for air. Scream for help, or I'm gonna fight them off. I don't want to alert the soulless to where I am if I could avoid that. My nails gouge deep into the traveler's wrist, but no matter how much blood I draw, they don't flinch. Girl needs to go for the eyes. The more I struggle, the tighter the grip grows. My pulse hammers in my ears, slowing with each thudding beat. This can't be happening. I'm going to die, and not because of the fogfall or the soulless, but because of my curse. Tears sting my eyes. No, no, not here, not like this. Oh, I should move my mouse. So sorry. But then their hands drop from my neck, leaving me wheezing for air. My lungs burn with each ragged cough. My vision clears and the traveler's face takes shape. Hovering inches from mine, lips still split in that macabre smile, even as blood seeps between their teeth. They give one last shuddering breath, then slump over the claws hooked through their stomach. The soulless shoves the body aside, its glowing eyes narrow as though grinning. Ooh, scary noise. There's a flash of claws, red spills across my vision. I thought there'd be pain, but as I sink into the murky water, all I can feel is the grit of silt filling my mouth in the icy embrace of shallow water. I spot an arm resting amongst an outcrop of reeds, mine neatly severed at the elbow. It should have taken both arms. Without them, maybe I could have survived. Maybe I could have had a home. Instead, I'll die cold and alone in a desolate wasteland. A fitting end for a monstrosity like me. Oh my gosh, crazy opening. I love it so much. It doesn't give me the chills, but it gives me the jitters. I love it. If this is death, this is not as bad as I feared. The cold is gone, as is the choking stench of bog water. I could drift forever, cocooned in oblivion, until all thought and sensation vanished. No curse, nobody howling at me in madness and terror, nothing at all. The thought has a terrible appeal to it. But I take a reflexive breath, and air pours into my lungs, then out again in a ragged gasp. What kind of sound is that? It's like, ugh. Feeling comes flooding back. Warm cloth on my bare skin, a firm surface beneath me, a strange tang of sulfur in the air. Do not be afraid. Yes. Of course not. I twist my head toward the voice. Tears flood my bleary eyes at the bright glow of lamplight. I also love the word lamplight. It's the alliteration, really, for me. Try not to move. The voice is calm, steady, and commanding. But more importantly, it's a stranger's voice. One thought cuts through my mental fog. I have no idea who this is, and I'm completely at their mercy. So stay away from me. My words come out in a little more than a creaky whisper. I clamp my mouth shut, hating how weak and helpless I sound. No. No? Who the hell is this? Sit up, lie back down. Um, I'll just lie back down because, like, what is it? My head is gonna, like, start throbbing if I sit up. I let myself slump back against a thin pillow, wincing when the motion jolts my head. Okay, so either way, my head is messed up. Ah, a cooperative patient. Thank you. The words swim in one ear and out the other without much comprehension. I cannot pronounce words. Comprehension. I pull the sheet up higher, wiping my eyes until my vision clears. Oh gosh. The stranger towers over my prone form. Warm light limbs his pristine medical coat. I instinctively shrink back, and that's when I realize that I'm completely naked except for a thin linen sheet. Naked, lying on a low cot, with a pair of sharp golden eyes watching my every move. The man's gaze flickers to my exposed, unbandaged hands. I plunge my hands under the sheet, though it's too late. He must have noticed what they look like. Strange, cursed, inhuman. I brace myself for his inevitable disgust, but his courteous smile lingers. I don't know if you could tell, I'm grinning ear to ear. This is the guy that I am 99.9% that I'm gonna romance when it comes out. He is so hot. I'm getting like all giddy and blushy just looking at him and thinking about him. I feel like with the updated demo, he acts kind of like Howl from Howl's Moving Castle. He gives me a little mischievous Howl vibe. But I have the craziest crush on this guy. He is my favorite if you couldn't tell. I need to get merch of him. That would be that might be a little too over the top for me. He just watches in placid silence as I struggle to make sense of my surroundings. Where am I? Who are you? Be calm. You are safe here. Whoever this is, he clearly has no idea who or what I am. I've never been safe anywhere, with anyone. Even my own mentor, my teacher, thought I was nothing but a convenient specimen to be used and discarded. I scowl, pulling the sheet protectively around myself. Where are my clothes? The man's golden eyes narrow slightly. My headphones are falling off. I'm geeking over this guy. A sharp sigh rustles the papers in his hands. I see you are not to be dissuaded. Your clothes were torn to shreds when I found you, but I procured your replacements. Ooh. Ooh, I like this. I feel like this is new. I don't recognize this painting at all. But everything else looks... I love all of the background drawings. I can really imagine myself inside of this world, and I feel like that's just something so like really good that this studio's doing, and this is their first game, I'm pretty sure, and I feel like it's so good. Okay, with a soft creak, He rises from his chair, giving me a better view of my surroundings. This looks like a medical clinic. Bottles of silvery alchemical concoctions line the counters in neat rows. The air makes my nose twitch, a faint whiff of smoke and something distinctly metallic. The doctor produces a large, dense bundle of cloth, which he sets at the foot of my cot. He's easily a head taller than most, and I have to crane my neck to look at him. Thank you, could you step out? Thank you, I'm gonna be nice to him. I should be polite if I can, especially since I don't know who this is, what he can do, or what he wants with me. Thank you. You're very welcome. I will leave you to get dressed. It doesn't help that I really like patching up scenes when one of the characters, gets in a fight and they need to be patched up or cleaned up or something, and there's another character that's helping them do that. I love scenes like that. I really hope that we get a scene like that if we choose this guy's routes. I'm not gonna give up his name until he tells me his name. I'm gonna try not to spoil anybody's name. I will leave you to get dressed. With a curt nod, he leaves through a narrow door. I hear a soft click as the lock turns behind him. When I don't hear any more footsteps, I reach for the bundles of clothes. An itch on my elbow stops me short. I reach down absently to rub at it, then freeze when my fingers meet a neat line of stitches. Scary. I know what I saw. The beast took my arm clean off. And yet, the limb shows no signs of injury apart from the black stitches poking through my skin. I gingerly flex my fingers, feeling my heart race at the sensation. This is impossible. I should be dead, or at the very least, gasping out my last breath. I squeeze my eyes shut, waiting for the pleasant dream to unravel, to wake up and find myself bleeding out in the swamp. But nothing happens. The seconds tick by, and my arm remains resolutely, I think resolutely was right, healed. My surroundings pristine and quiet. In numb disbelief, I grab the replacement clothes and begin stiffly pulling them on. They're thicker and warmer than mine were, bundled with a black woolen cloak, but there's one thing still missing: my bandages. The doctor didn't leave me with any, though. I know he saw my hands. I slide off the bed and take a few unsteady steps toward one of the drawers. If this is indeed a doctor's clinic, there must be bandages somewhere. I start opening drawers at random, and of course, that's when the door swings open. Are you looking for something? I whirl around, clutching a thick roll of clean bandages. I try to step back from him, but my legs bump up against the cot. Your caution is understandable, though if I meant you any harm, you would know. That doesn't make me feel better in the slightest, but he makes no move toward me, so I quickly wind the bandages around my hands. The glowing scars and mottled skin disappear under a layer of clean white cotton. May I ask why you need additional bandages? I can help you if you tell me what ails you. I doubt it. Traveling to Aridia was a gamble born of desperation rather than hope. Nothing has come close to curing my curse. And yet, my left arm twitches, the arm that was severed before my very eyes. The doctor's unblinking gaze follows my every move. It's clear he won't drop this without some sort of answer. The bandages protect me, and they warn others to stay away. I've tried every way of covering my hand, and this works best. Most people avoid touching me as soon as they see the bandages. An illness, then, or a less mundane affliction, spread by contact. I flinch. He doesn't even sound surprised, and that's far too close to the truth for comfort. Glare at him or decline to answer? I'll glare at him for the sake of it, but I'm not doing that in the full game. I fix him with the coldest glare I can muster, yet he serenely holds my gaze. I am not easily intimidated. I think he kinda likes that though. Like, a good patient, of course, but I gotta keep him on his toes. I hastily break eye contact, but he says nothing more. At least he doesn't seem angry. I shake my head. I need to know more about this doctor before he figures me out. Who are you? You may call me Karash. Okay, they posted a pronunciation guide, and I think it might be Kurosh, but I like Kurosh, so hopefully I'm not flip-flopping between that. And where exactly am I? Iridia, which I assume was your caravan's destination. I can think of nowhere else for a group of travelers to go. Iridia, so I made it to the City of Knowledge after all. I should feel relieved, but all I can manage is a vague sense of increasing unease. How did I end up here? I brought you to my clinic, of course. You're the only survivor from the caravan, barely clinging to life. You needed immediate treatment. Which you provided? Yes. He says it so simply, as if I'm a small child, and he's explaining basic addition to me. I frown and flex the fingers on my recently healed arm. Aside from being a bit stiff, it feels fine, thoroughly attached to me. You're saying that you stitched my arm back on? Pardon? A soulless attacked me. A soulless attacked the caravan. It ripped everyone to shreds. It tore my arm clean off. But when I woke up here, I spent my entire life learning from a Cenobium mage, and I know of no alchemy or magic that could reattach a severed limb. Even if he somehow could heal me with magic, I should be able to detect traces of it, but I sense nothing out of the ordinary. The doctor, Karash, pinches the bridge of his nose. He sits back down in his chair, quiet for a long time. I do not know where you come from, but Iridia is the city of knowledge and deadly secrets alike. Information is power, and one should not give it or receive it freely. Since you refuse to divulge your secrets, I will not divulge mine. I do not even know your name. I was just... You are new to Iridia, so I will overlook this specific breach of etiquette. Do not expect others to extend the same courtesy. Do you understand? He glances at my freshly bandaged hand. Loath though I am to admit, he has a point. I am a complete stranger to him, yet he saved my life. I'm still getting giddy over him. I'm like kicking my feet, just talking to him. I take a deep, steadying breath. This time, when I speak, I sound a bit more like myself. Ivy. My name is Ivy. It is a pleasure to meet you, Ivy. There's a little more warmth in his smile, his polite demeanor back in an instant. His little smile. I love this smile smirk. He's so cute. I am really excited to hear the voice actor for him. I think that they're all like announced and everything, but I have specifically not looked up any of the voice actors, so I'm gonna be like so excited and happy when it comes out, and I just want my reaction to be its purest form. I'm just so excited for it to come out. Thank you for saving me. Why did you save me? I'm gonna ask. If there's anything I've learned, it's that everybody wants something. With the world in such peril, no one reaches out a hand without expecting something in return. Do I tell you why I think he saved me? No, no, no. That's probably spoiler if you don't know what it's about. So maybe I'll give you my honest opinions when the actual game comes out. Because I don't want to spoil. All of the characters are monsters in some form. They all have a monster form. So I'm not gonna give you any more about what his monster form is, but I think it has to do with his monster form. Can I ask, why did you save my life? You don't know me. The question seems to startle Karash. I could hardly leave you to die in the wastes. Assisting those in need is the very essence of a doctor's duty. I've never met a doctor who also handed out free clothes. My fingers find the edge of the cloak. There's a subtle but delicately embroidered pattern around the hem. I try not to think about what price Karash might demand for such well-made clothes. No, I suppose not. Forgive my presumption. I rarely come across such a fascinating patient. I blink. What did he just say? Ah, I simply meant that if you would cling to life so resolutely, or brave such a perilous journey to Iridia. I cannot help being curious about you, Ivy. His voice dips into a soft murmur, and he abruptly looks away from me. You're pretty curious yourself? Or I don't know what to say to that. I'm gonna flirt with him. You're pretty curious yourself. Am I? Well, I haven't forgotten about my arm. I wiggle my intact fingers at him. Clearly not. But you haven't asked me for any payment either. I require none from you. Travelers do not have an abundance of coin, and leaving you destitute in a strange place would be unethical. I fall silent, unsure of what to say. Nobody would help a whore like me for free. There has to be some kind of catch or trick, right? Ooh. A loud knock at the front door stops our conversation cold and spares me from having to say anything else. Duty calls. Unfortunately, you are not my only patient today. The knocking grows more insistent, and Krosh lets out a tired sigh. Please wait. Though he says it quietly, the clamor on the other side of the door abruptly stops. He has like an aura. Do you need anything before you leave, Ivy? Oh. Between the soulless attack and my miraculous survival, I had almost forgotten why I came to Iridia in the first place. I need directions to the Cenobium. The Cenobium? See how angry he is? My gosh. He is so cute even when he's angry. The look on his face is downright chilling. He pauses, choosing his words with cold deliberation when he speaks again. Whatever you seek, it is very unlikely you will find it there. Alright, so he doesn't like the Cenobium. The Cenobium's gates open for precious few visitors, and even if they open for you, you would not like what you found inside. I really, really am excited to learn why he hates the Cenobium. My heart sinks. Is he saying that I came all this way for nothing? Risked life and limb for nothing? No, that can't be. I've only just arrived, and Iridia's the largest city still standing. There has to be a cure for me here. Then, if not the Cenobium, where would you suggest? Do you know anyone else in Iridia? I shake my head. Then I suggest a local guide. Head to the Wet Wick and ask for Leander, the leader of the Adderstone. Dude, it wasn't always the Adderstone. It used to be like a wolf name, I'm pretty sure. You could look all this up, but it was like a wolf name. But I think that the Adderstone probably has more like importance and what am I like not foreshadowing, but I can't think of the other word. But it's more telling for Leander's character for them to change it to the Adderstone, and hopefully there is like a lore reason that we get of why it's called the Adderstone. But again, the Wet Wick, I just am a simple girl. I love the alliteration. Excuse me, the wet what? The Wet Wick. He sounds deeply unamused. I'm amused by it. Follow the Adderstone postings. They're difficult to miss. When you meet Leander, tell him I sent you. That isn't much to go on, but Karash points toward the back door. You will be safe so long as you do not draw attention to yourself. That's easier said than done. I've always been a magnet for the worst sort of attention. If you require my assistance, you may return whenever you wish. I am gonna return every chance I get. Are you kidding me? Though he's smiling, there's a note of finality in his voice. Resigned to my dismissal, I slip out the back door. I think. Oh, the ambiance noise. My goodness, the dogs and horses and stuff. I think that Leander is a fan favorite. So if you don't know anything about this game, just wait until you meet Leander. I find myself standing in a narrow and rather gloomy alley. I pull the new cloak up over my nose, stepping over the contents of emptied chamber pots. Something weighs heavy inside of the cloak's pockets. My coin purse. Every last coin that I'd scraped together for the journey to Aridia is still inside. The purse doesn't even look like it was opened. There were so few coins to begin with, they probably weren't worth stealing. I glanced back at the clinic's closed door. Karash didn't take any payment. He didn't even ask for a future favor. But he also said that in Aridia, secrets are power. Does he expect me to give up mine at some point? That's not exactly a comforting thought. Still, no matter why he did it, Karash gave me a second chance and a lead on where I might find help. So cool. It's very, like sandstony kind of. I mean, it obviously looks like there's bricks, but I'm getting a sandstone kind of vibe. I do hope that it's a little more colorful. I don't know how many extra city backgrounds they're gonna do, but I would love a little bit more color. I won't lie. I better get going before he changes his mind. I squeeze out of the alley and into the crowded main street. The line outside Crush's clinic stretches down the road. Two thin peddlers queue alongside weathered elders. If any place is in desperate need of a free clinic, it's this one. The cobblestones are treacherously rough under my feet, deep grooves worn beneath them by regular flooding and decades of hard use. I knew Aridia was a river city, but I didn't expect it to look so eroded. The buildings are tired and dilapidated, all crammed together in narrow streets. A child darts by, clutching something greasy wrapped in paper. The smell of fried food drifts over to me, and my stomach gives a faint gurgle. This morning's catch, right up hot and fresh. Not too many eyeballs today. That sounds disgusting. But I'm starving, so I duck my head under the stall's grubby awning. A large fish leers up at me, its three bulging eyes still visible through the thick layer of crispy batter. The vendor gives me a gap-toothed grin. What's the cheapest thing you've got? The vendor points at a metal basket of what looks like long strips of savory fried dough. Fresh long, lads. 3 copper apiece. Don't burn your mouth. I take the coins out, counting them gingerly. At this rate, I might not even be able to afford dinner. Reluctantly, I drop the payment on the counter and take my meal. See, this is a little bit more colorful. We've got some lanterns and stuff. 2 streets later, I pass under a wrought iron archway, adorned with dangling garlands of red and pink lilies. Even though we get this pretty nice visual of what this looks like, I'm like imagining in my head more detail. And one of the things I love about any sort of media that I am intaking is that I can imagine and expand it in my mind. And this story really expands in my mind, if that makes any sense. Okay, red and pink lilies. The building in this quarter, the buildings in this quarter are a dizzying riot of color. Painted walls and tinted glass everywhere I look. Sheer red and pink curtains flutter in open doorways. Musical voices call out invitingly. Incense mingles with the pungent scent of flowers, barely covering the salt and musk of warm bodies. This must be Aridia's entertainment district. I'm polishing off my food and dusting the crumbs from my hands when I spot a poster. Ooh! It features the silhouette of a smiling man wearing a single dagger-like earring, and the words "The Adderstone" printed above his head. I pause before the poster. What a curious choice of name. A semi-precious mineral that draws out poison. If Leander is the leader of the Adderstone, then the face printed on the poster is likely his. I want to see the poster. I follow the line of identical posters around a corner and nearly hit my head on a precariously dangling wooden sign. Looking up, faded orange letters read, "The Wet Wick." The facade of the building looks like it's seen better days, but I hear a faint music and laughter coming from inside. Ah, I'm so excited. Ah, I love red lighting. I talk about red characters and red lighting way too much in my book videos, but I love a good red lighting character that wears red type of feel. It's not even midday, yet the wick is packed. A loose collection of Iridians crowd the bar, taking up the tables and gathering in the spaces between. They speak amongst each other in hushed voices, their faces drawn and grave. A cursory glance doesn't turn up anyone with a dagger-shaped earring, and I'm considering searching the bar when a loud voice carries across the room. Now, I'm no prior or curator. I'm not much for paperwork or pencil pushing. Pencil pushing. Okay. And honestly, I don't even think those robes come in my size. Oh my goodness, the audio cut out for a second. I crane my neck, but the crowd is too dense for me to see the speaker. Gather around, I want to show you all something. There's no time to move out of the way. The audience surges toward the center of the room in a sudden torrent. I'm caught and swept along with them. Hey! The clatter of falling chairs and tables being shoved aside drowns out my complaints. I thrash and throw my elbows as heavy bodies press into mine. My hip knocks into a table. I grip it, holding on tight to steady myself, but the crowd has stilled. A pair of gilded boots strides across the tabletop. Oh my god. If you want nothing but guidelines and practical policies and needless bureaucracy, you know where to go. I drag my eyes upward. A man towers on the table in front of me, arms spread as he addresses his rapt audience. But I'm not going to wait for a word from on high. His impassioned words provoke nods and excited whispers. But nothing is as captivating as his brilliant smile. He beams at the crowd around him, a performer on his makeshift stage. And unlike those clerics, I don't need the abbess's approval to cast a spell or two. As he raises his hands above the audience, the dagger-shaped earring dangling from his left ear catches the light in a flash of gold. It seems I've found Leander. These are our streets. We make our own luck here. He snaps, and a flash of pale green light erupts from his hand. I'm curious as to whether this pin and this stone on his earring, they're obviously different colors, and I feel like they pay pretty close attention, very close attention to character design. So I'm curious as to what this like the story of these gems are, and I feel like they might be some sort of mana, like they're holding magic, because Leander just seems so powerful and magical. I feel like there's a little bit more to it, possibly. With with a flick of his wrist, Leander conjures a ribbon of glittering light. Also, let me just say, I bring up Final Fantasy VII way too often, but lilies are my favorite flower, and lilies are also the flower of Final Fantasy VII. Again, it's like a fantasy version of lilies. I think that they have an extra petal, and these have an extra petal. So it was absolutely crazy to me when I played this for the first time, and this man brings out my favorite flowers. I definitely really liked him at first. A delicate flower stem sprouts from between his pinched fingers. One by one, glowing lily petals unfurl. Leander raises the flowers with a flourish, and the bar bursts into clapping and cheers. My mouth hangs open, and not just on account of the impressive performance. There is no incantation, no spell circle. I've never seen such a beautiful and intricate spell cast so effortlessly. With skills like that, it's no wonder Karash sent me here. Leander plucks the shimmering flowers out of the air and turns in a slow circle. Now, who could use some good luck? Eager onlookers scoot closer to the table, but Leander's cool, green eyes slide right over them and lock onto me instead. How about you? My chest grows tight. Suddenly, I'm in the spotlight. Of course, let's take the flowers. I reach out and take the flowers from him, all too aware of my trembling fingers. There's no weight to them, only a faint warmth that radiates from the stems. As soon as the lilies leave Leander's hand, they dim and they fade away in a shower of opalescent light. To my surprise, Leander laughs under his breath. That's the problem with flowers. They don't last long, but they leave an impression, right? He grins at me, and I find myself smiling back. His belt is also. It just like gives me mana crystal vibes. Leander steps off the table, dropping among the excited crowd with a clink. Alright, show's over. Back to work, everyone. The audience disperses and Leander heads toward the bar. Now's my chance. I start after him, only to find myself face to face with one of his followers. Where do you think you're going? I need to talk to Leander. Uh-huh, you and half of Lowtown. Leander is busy right now. Out of shown business. Come back tonight. After the moment we shared, surely Leander can spare a word. But the follower crosses her arms, unmoved. I glance over her shoulder, hoping to catch a glimpse of Leander. As though sensing my gaze, he looks up, and for a moment our eyes lock. Then Leander turns away to murmur something to the group gathered around him. The follower moves to block my view. You hear me? I'm not looking for trouble. This doctor, Kurosh, said I should find Leander. That's... She's interrupted by a hand resting on her shoulder. Kurosh sent you? He said you could help me. Leander nods at the woman, and she steps aside wordlessly. Follow me. I'm so excited. He leads me to the crowded bar. I am way too excited to talk to this guy that I'm not even gonna romance, that I have already met before twice. There's a little room that his broad shoulder presses against mine. I tense, but he doesn't seem to mind at all. Sorry about that. The Adderstone watch out for one another, but they can be overprotective at times. Lesson learned. Leander flashes me a broad grin. You're new to Iridia, aren't you? He says it with a genuine air of curiosity. Do I stick out that much? No, but I'm certain I'd remember seeing a face as lovely as yours around Lowtown. My eyes drop to the polished countertop. I'm not used to flattery, and being this close makes eye contact difficult. As if on cue, the bartender approaches us. What'll it be? Surprise me, and add anything my friend wants. Oh my gosh. And add anything my friend wants to my tab. I'll have what he's having or water. I'll just do what he's having. I'll have what he's having. While the bartender leaves to fix our drinks, Leander leans his elbows on the counter. His sleeves ride up, revealing a long, raised scar. I catch myself following its winding path across his forearm. Leander's eyes watch over me in return. When they lock on my bandaged hands, a bitter taste rises in my throat. Here come the questions. Is there any chance Krosh sent you here for cheap tricks or barely edible appetizers? No. He pushes his hair back from his forehead, sighing when it immediately falls back into place. Come on. That's the doctor for you, always business. I'm not sure he even knows how to relax. The bartender returns with a pair of glasses. I raise mine and give it an experimental sniff. It smells faintly yeasty, like a beer, but with an undercurrent I can't quite place. A quick sip confirms my worst suspicion. It's awful, briny and sour with a distinct hint of pickle. Ew. Beside me, Leander takes a deep swig from his glass. So how can I help you? I need to get to the cenobium. As soon as the word cenobium leaves my mouth, the group standing nearby falls silent. From the worry looks thrown my way, it's clear I've broken some taboo. Ah, it had to be the cenobium. Leander pushes away from the counter. Let's continue this conversation outside. I rise to follow him. Ooh, yay! This is like the most action that we get. Leander leads me into an alleyway tucked behind the wet wick. Layers upon layers of frayed and faded Adderstone posters plaster the walls. This is the best scene. I love this part. Seeing them side by side, the resemblance between Leander and his printed likeness is impressive if abstract. Grosh didn't send you here to ask for a personal escort to the cenobium, did he? From his tone, he already knows the answer. No, he suggested that I reconsider. Yet here you are, asking about a guide anyway. He looks at me expectantly. I don't want to tell him about my curse. The less people know about my monstrous capabilities, the better. Thankfully, Leander takes my reluctant silence as an answer. Are you aware of Iridia's particular currency? Information's worth its weight in gold here. I don't much care for outdated tradition, so I'll be completely honest. The cenobium won't help you. They're more likely to torture you than lend you a hand. Torture? My teacher never described anything like that. But the cenobium's supposed to be a place of learning, a sanctuary. The cenobium has always been heralded as the last bastion of human knowledge, a shining beacon of hope in a faded world. If any place held answers, it would be the cenobium. That's why I came here. Leander nods patiently. You're not the first person to fall for their propaganda. I grew up idolizing the cenobium. I wanted nothing more than to join their ranks, to learn magic from the best, to make a real difference. I was young and blinded by the legends and the legacy. I was so damn naive. He shakes his head. All it took was one trip here, to Lowtown, to show me the truth. Unless you've got a heavy purse or high-born blood, the cenobium doesn't give a damn. They'll never open their gates for the ones who need the help most. Who need help the most. Then it's all a lie? Things that seem too good to be true are often just that. Such a simple statement, and yet it leaves me reeling. I feel like he's talking about himself. He's gotta be talking about himself at least a little bit. Leander watches me as though weighing something in his mind. But that doesn't mean you're hopeless. Far from it. I founded the Adderstone to help people like you. We settle disputes, slay feral soulless. Hell, we've even been known to patch a leaky roof or two. Whatever troubles you, we can help. Free from charge. I'm shaking my head before he's even finished his speech. My patience is wearing desperately thin. I appreciate the offer, but my problem can't be solved by a group of good Samaritans. To my chagrin. Chagrin? Is that right? Leander doesn't look remotely surprised. Then you're looking for help with something serious, something not even Karash could crack. It must be a truly remarkable problem if you came all the way to Iridia searching for help. Tell me, how can I help you? Leander may not work for the cenobium, but if his demonstration was any indication, then he's even stronger than the mage who raised me. She couldn't do anything about my curse, but maybe. Indecision gnaws at me. I don't know if I can trust him, but it's not like I have any alternatives. I hate to admit it, but this might be my only path forward. My confession comes out in a strained whisper. I'm cursed. He looks up at me and down, taking in my face, my eyes, and finally my hands. This look on his face, so cute. He looks like a puppy dog. Is that why you bandage your hands? My touch is dangerous. It changes people, hurts them. Before I've even finished, Leander pulls his left glove off. He flexes his fingers and grins. Alright, let's see it. As he offers me his hand, a prismatic flash of magic ripples across his palm, an enchantment for protection, but I'm already shrinking backwards. I can't. I don't care how confident Leander is. I wouldn't allow myself to hurt him, to see his kind face unrecognizably warped. I don't want to hurt you. I'll be fine. Trust me. I've seen enough curses and hexes to last me 2 lifetimes, but I'm still standing. When a man says trust me so early on into talking to him, we're raising red flags. This is red flag waving in front of your eyes. I mean, I guess we can trust him, but girl, do you really think Karash would send you here if I couldn't handle it? How should I know? I only met him today. I'm twice as good as any Cenobian mage. If anyone can help you, it's me. You don't know what you're asking me. If I'm asking you to trust me. I look from Leander's outstretched hand to his confident smile. Then I begin unwinding the bandages from my hand. If you lose control, don't say I didn't warn you. You can tie me up first if that makes you feel better. Oh my god, this guy is crazy. This is why everybody likes him. He's so down bad, and we just met. You can tie me up first if it makes you feel better. His attempt at levity does little to comfort me. With each joint I expose, I grow increasingly certain that this is a terrible idea, but if he's bothered by how my hand looks, he doesn't show it. Alright, deep breaths on my count. My fingers hover shakily over Leander's palm. 3, 2, 1. Hold back or touch him. We're touching him, guys. I tap his palm once, as quickly as possible. It's barely more than a brush, but that's all it ever takes. Heart racing, my eyes dart to his face, but Leander only smiles gently. See? It can't be. When I reach for his palm again, Leander catches my wrist before I can pull back. I told you, there's really nothing to worry about. He trails off when my thumb grazes the soft skin of his inner wrist. I search Leander's face for traces of madness, but his eyes remain a clear, soft green. Neither of us speak as I trace the contours of his palm, lost in an awareness I wasn't anticipating. It's not as though I've never been touched before. My curse only extends to my hands, and desperation spurs creativity. But all that pales in comparison to this. I've never experienced such intimacy. My fingers, long deprived by years of bandaging, picked up every single detail, the grooves along his palm, the smooth shell of his nails, the bones in his wrists. For as long as I've lived, I've never been able to hold someone's hand without dire consequences. I never realized what I was missing. While Leander's pulse is steady, mine hammers as fear gives way to excitement. Keep touching him or let him go. My hand glides over Leander's wrist and up his arm where smooth skin abruptly gives way to a raised scar. It matches the one that runs from his collar to cheekbone. Could it be the same wound? When I glance at Leander's face, his lips part as he considers his words. Am I the first person you've been able to touch like this? Dude, when the voice actor says that line, I'm gonna lose it. My hand goes still on his arm. So far. Then, then is it everything you wanted? This little blushy face. When I nod, Leander turns my hand in his to inspect the gleaming fissures crisscrossing my knuckles. There is no revulsion in his face, no fear. He looks up at me and grins. It's not every day I meet someone as enticing as gold. Dude, I'm gonna lose it. He winks and lets me go. I draw my hand back and take a steadying breath. My head feels like it's stuffed with cotton. Habit alone guides me through the motions of rewrapping my hand, although my fingers tremble too much for the bandages to lie flat. I can't believe that worked. I've really forgotten my manners. May I ask your name? I'm Ivy. Ivy, this curse of yours is unlike anything I've ever seen before. I can tell you're careful, but it's best you keep this between us. Are you staying in Lowtown? I pause. Room and board was something I'd yet to consider. I don't know. Let's get you properly settled then. The Wick is noticeably quieter. Without their leader, most of Leander's followers have dispersed, or in a few cases, fallen asleep beside their drinks. Got any rooms left? Ordered my lot. Grab them all to sleep it off. The bartender, who I now realize doubles as an innkeeper, slides a key onto the counter. The usual room? Leander's laugh sounds slightly strained. No, not today. This is just for my friend Ivy. Right, stay as long as you'd like. You two have fun. Have fun? Leander clears his throat, then holds the key out to me. I hesitate. My coin purse barely holds enough for a day's worth of meals, let alone a room. How much do I owe you? Nothing. My treat since you shared your secret. Food, drink, a warm bed, anything you need. Carefully, I take the key from him. It's small but heavy in my palm. I never expected to have a warm bed in Iridia, let alone free meals. Thank you. Iridia is twice as dangerous as it is wondrous. Be careful out there. And if you need a reprieve from what haunts you, come find me. I nod, taking one last look at the gleaming bronze key before tucking it into the pocket of my cloak for safekeeping. Leander gives me a friendly wave before returning to the bar. Dust glitters in the sparse rays of light illuminating the room. The furniture is tired, the walls cracked, and a large, lumpy bed serves as the centerpiece. I can't remember the last time I slept in a bed, and I never imagined I'd sleep in one tonight. When I collapse onto the bed, the springs let out shrill squeaks. Finally, I can allow myself to rest. My eyes fall shut before long. Ooh, fade to black. I wake to pale sunlight glittering through the narrow windows. Despite the clamor of the tavern below, the precious hours of rest have restored my strength and gifted me a flicker of cautious optimism. If I play my cards right, today could be the day I get closer to finding a cure. I quickly head out of the wet wick. The air clinked, sodden and heavy, with the lingering scent of rain. Without the afternoon crowd, the district looks barren and bleak. In the middle of the street, a pair of crows quibble over stale bread crusts. I pause, watching them while I consider my next move. In the middle of the street, a pair of crows quibble over stale bread crusts. I pause, watching them while I consider my next move. Karash and Leander both made it clear that the cenobium can't be trusted, but I came so far and endured too much to give up now. I need to see the cenobium for myself, if only to satisfy my curiosity. Surely someone in the bar can point me in the right direction. Ooh, black. I'm about to turn back when a shadow passes over me. A cloud, I think, until a puff of hot breath tickles the back of my neck. The shadow trickles down the street in rivulets, formless, dark, spreads like ink into blotting shapes. Claws stretch, a muzzle splits open to reveal long, jagged teeth. A growl rumbles so low and deep, I feel it in my chest. I want to run, to scream, but I feel trapped, as though the slightest movement or breath will snap the jaws around me shut. No, I won't let it end like this. If I'm going to die, I want to look what got me in the eye first. I steel myself, then turn. Nothing is there. The shadow vanishes as quickly as it came, and I'm left standing in the middle of the street, alone save for a figure reclining in the shade of a nearby stoop. My god. A monster, that much is clear from a glance. One that could nearly be mistaken for a human, were it not for the tufted ears, the tail curled around his ankle, or the dusk pink eyes with pupils that sharpen like needles when they fall on me. We lock gazes, and the monster uncrosses his long legs. This is the other guy that I was considering to romance. He's definitely a second choice, but I don't know. I really like this guy also, but I think that he's gonna be pretty popular. But yeah, I really like this guy too. I love his name. First off, let me get to where he says his name. His hair gleams a shade of red that reminds me unsettlingly of blood where it curls around his collared throat. Jumpy, aren't you? His tone is so light and carefree that I glance over my shoulder to make sure he's speaking to me. I love his outfit. I love his outfit too. He has the best outfit, like no lie. When I look back, the stranger props his chin on his knuckle and regards me with an inscrutable grin. Did you see that shadow just now? It was massive, moved like a beast. Even as I speak, I'm aware of how ridiculous I must sound, but the stranger's smile doesn't falter. The only beasts I've seen are the Wicks drooling regulars, though this did catch my eye. He has my key. With the flick of his wrist, my in-room key dangles from his finger. It turns on its chain, glittering when it catches the light. Doesn't it kind of look like, is it a spade in, like, cards? I don't know if spade is the right one, but you know which one I'm talking about. I wonder if that is significant in any way. My hands fly to my cloak's pockets and sure enough, find them flat. He crooks his finger, beckoning. I've already taken 2 steps forward before some stifled instinct stops me. Something feels wrong. I'm still on the edge, thrumming with so much adrenaline that the stranger's shadow flickers at the edges of my vision. I always seem to attract the worst kind of attention, but I can't get rattled now. Who said that's my key? Where did you find it? In my pocket, obviously. My key? How'd you find it? What can I say? I'm a sucker for shiny things. He smiles wide enough to reveal sharp fangs. Surprised he's not a raccoon. Stealing shiny things. I saw you drop it. You really should be more careful. City like this, somebody might take advantage. A bald-faced lie, without any hint of irony. I didn't drop my key, and I didn't sense any magic either. You must have stolen it somehow. What is this ring that's on his chest? What is this for? I approach the monster, careful to keep an arm's length away. He doesn't look dangerous, but the most deadly ones never do. Oh. The stranger's chain softly clinks with the tilt of his head. His ears flick. Keeping your distance? I'd be stupid to trust you. You think I stole your dinky little key from all the way over here? He gives an exaggerated sigh. I'm good with my hands, but not that good. Do I really look like a common thief to you? Isn't he so intriguing? He's got me there. The sheer fabric of his sleeves alone could be too expensive, would be too expensive, for most street thieves. Hell, his shoes look like they could cost more than I spent traveling here. And then there's the shop behind him. No matter the city, parted pink curtains only mean one thing. I'm not looking to buy, and I doubt I could afford your services anyway. Luckily for you, I don't charge. The man runs the tip of his tongue over a fang, and for the first time since I stepped into that shadow, I feel something rather than dread. My face grows hot. I didn't mean to assume. I'm flattered, really. Did you think you could pay to pet my ears? I wish I could. I just need my key back. Ask nicely, and I might even let you tug my tail. Just throw it here, so some spindly little street urchin can snatch it and run. He raises my key and tilts his head so he can watch it dangle back and forth. I really like this character, and they're all like Baldur's Gate. They're all pansexual, doesn't matter what orientation you choose for your character. And I don't want to spoil anything about the characters, but this guy has got something going with another man, so I don't know if I would want to insert myself between them, even if they aren't together. But he just seems very complicated in both his relationships with everybody, as well as his backstory. I have to do 2 runs of this game. I for sure am gonna romance Kurosh, and I have to romance this guy second playthrough. But he is so cute, isn't he? I am obsessed with him. I suppose I could just claim your room for myself. Not that I'd be caught dead slumming it in the wick with the rest of those slack-jawed imbeciles. You're obviously not from around here, so tell me, traveler, what misfortune brought you to this wretched place? His voice practically drips with derision. I'm not telling you anything. What could have possibly drawn you to this dreary little pig pen, I wonder? He listlessly watches the arc of my key swinging around his finger. The weather's shit, the food's dreck, and there's entirely too many monsters for a human to feel safe unless... Dagger-sharp eyes flick towards me. They gleam bright with amusement. Unless you're just dying to consort with monsters. By now my embarrassment has worn away, leaving simmering impatience in its place. If this is a shakedown, it's the most frustrating one I've ever endured. Walk away or play along? I guess I'll walk away because I think I would play along, but let's walk away because I haven't seen what this is. His grin widens when I take a step forward. I knew you'd... And crumples as soon as I walk past him. Where are you going? Don't you want your key back? I can feel his eyes boring into my back. As much as I'd hate to lose my lodgings, it wouldn't be the first time I've resorted to sleeping on a street. Wait, what do you want? When I look over my shoulder, the monster has risen from the stoop. He hesitates, lips parted. Why is he blushing right now? He is so toxic. When I don't give him the time of day is when he likes me. Crazy. Our eyes meet for a heartbeat before his dart away. The tip of his tail thrashes against the ground. Don't get the wrong idea. I was only playing. I never meant to offend you. He says it carelessly, but I don't miss the way he studies my face for a reaction. I'm not playing your games. I thought you were flirting. I'm not gonna play your games. I'm not in the mood for games. Give me my key and let me go. Very well, come take it. I don't know what you want or why you're messing with me, but I'm not coming any closer until I know you aren't going to attack me or bite. I won't bite hard unless you beg me. That line is going to be crazy. No matter what I say, he finds a way to twist my words into innuendo. If I want to gain control of this situation, I'd better start by steering the conversation in a more practical direction. There's something I'm looking for. Do you know the city well? The monster's gaze flicks from me to the key hanging from his finger. Naturally, this stump was little more than a miserable little smear on a map when I first arrived. Hightown, Lowtown, I know Iridia like the back of my hand. What about the cenobium? Do you know where that is? His smile vanishes. Surely you've seen it. That absurdly large tower looming over the rest. It's a little hard to miss. He must mean that spire I noticed when I first caught sight of Iridia. The cenobium's overrated. Forget about it. Why would you possibly want to visit that musty old tower? What's it matter to you? His lip twitches. He lets out a short, sharp breath. Your loss. The stranger, finally bored of his own tedious game, extends his hand toward me. The key rests on his palm, neatly dividing skin and leather. When he makes no other move, I reach for the key, but as soon as my fingers graze smooth brass, his hand springs shut around my elbow. Hey! Scary. He yanks me down and I stagger, my shoes slipping on the steps. For a sick moment, I fear my bandages will unravel under his touch, but he's careful not to disturb them, even as he grips my arm. I knew I smelled blood, you reek of the road, and death. And that fucking doctor. His voice, once silken, lowers to a smoky growl. The shadows around him seethe and boil. And something else. His wide, flat eyes gleam with naked hunger as he gazes at me. Let go! Just when I fear he'll bite, His grip loosens, and his eyes widen with awe. It seems I underestimated you. You're Veer! The stranger's ears flatten, and he releases me with a short breath. I yank my arm back, massaging my bandages. He twists around to see a woman duck out from the curtains behind him. Her cenobium uniform is nearly identical to the one my mentor kept tucked away in her closet. I leave you for all of what? 10 minutes and you're making trouble again? Will you quit harassing the tourists? The stranger, Veer, I take it, rolls his eyes and flashes the cleric a withering smile. So suspicious. Can't you see this is a friend of mine? A natural liar. He grins at me and his tail swishes coyly. The woman purses her lips at me, clearly unconvinced. I open my mouth to correct him, but Veer cuts in. I was graciously offering my dear friend some free advice. Though his voice remains light and cheerful, his expression darkens. Danger's drawn to you like a moth to a flame. It will always find you given time. The woman clucks her tongue, as though she's heard this recital 102 times. Word to the wise, don't take free advice from lazy foxes lounging in the streets. This crook would sell water to a drowning man for the sheer enjoyment of it. She shrugs off a wilting look from Veer. Oh, please. Any friend of yours knows it's true. Now hold still. Veer rises gracefully at her approach. He pushes his hair aside, so it drapes over one shoulder, exposing the line of his neck. And suddenly, it dawns on me that the jingling I heard earlier wasn't coming from his harness, but a heavy iron chain wound around a hitching post and a padlock to the back of his collar. Isn't that so interesting? I know a lot about him because of me backing the Kickstarter and getting the backer exclusive emails and that kind of thing and following their social media, so I know a good amount about him. But isn't that so cool? I like this is so interesting. I want to know more about him. Like, why is he collared? Why is he on a chain? Why is this woman carting him around? I'm so curious. The woman produces a crowded key ring from her pocket. She rifles through a dozen identical keys before selecting one and slotting it into the lock. Come on, unless your friend's tagging along on our merry little soulless hunt. They're hunting for soulless inside the city? Words momentarily fail me. The cleric regards me with a polite if tight smile. Before marching down the stairs, Veer lingers. He stretches his arms over his head with a yawn, and I try not to stare at the way his stomach flattens when he arches his back. Your little secret's safe with me. Try not to get yourself killed. Uh-huh. Veer hops off the stoop and bounds after the woman. His tail sways merrily, as though he hadn't just lied and threatened me. Did you try that thing I mentioned? The Leventian knot? That the one where you take 3 fingers and... Actually, don't tell me. Knowing you, it's probably disgusting. Veer's airy laughter echoes down the street. It's only after he and the cleric have vanished from sight that I realize I'm still missing something. Wait. Reflexively, I shove my hands into my pockets and find it. The room key. I raise it to the light. Sure enough, it's my key, but the realization is hardly comforting. I don't know what Veer's game was, or what he wanted from me. I totally said that in the wrong tone of voice, but all I know for certain is that the cenobium saw fit to leash him, a fate I could share, if that's what his vague warning meant. I let my eyes drift skyward, past the lanterns gently swaying in the breeze to the cenobium faintly visible through the haze. Just one glimpse is all I need, then I can put this all behind me. This time, the key goes into my coin purse for safekeeping. The gates! It's easy enough to follow the winding streets, climbing uphill toward the distant tower. Hours later, legs aching, sweat beading on my forehead, I finally find what I'm searching for. The cenobium of the luminous void. It stands at the highest point of Iridia, surrounded by cold white walls. Well-dressed people stroll down the walkways, ignoring the massive tower in their midst. I'm the only one standing before the gates. I crane my neck up until the top of the cenobium spire disappears into the clouds overhead. The gates are so heavily enchanted that even standing near them sets my teeth on edge. Alchemically reinforced locks, invisible alarm sigils, and who knows what else. Oh my gosh. Knocking seems like a terrible idea, but I don't see any other way of making my presence known. I'm halfway up the steps when something moves in my peripheral vision. A shadowy figure crouches beneath one of the white walls. They reach out and tug on a vine as if testing its strength. Oi, you there! The shadow vanishes as quickly as I spotted it, and a gaunt-faced man in a crisp charcoal uniform marches up the steps toward me. Ugh, another tourist. Get out of here once you're done gawking. A dismissive wave accompanies his equally dismissive words, and he turns without even hesitating for my response. I look back at where I saw the intruder, but there's nothing, just the leaves blowing gently in a cool breeze. I step away from the gates, hopelessness washing over me. Hello? A whisper coats the back of my ear, hot and syrupy. I jerk away but find no one beside me. Instead, halfway down the staircase, I spot a girl peering up at me. She's barefoot, draped in several layers of worn, moth-eaten clothing. Peculiar metal jewelry hangs around her face and jingles with each slight movement. Her eyes are her most striking feature. They shine a scorching, unnatural crimson. Spooky! I wonder why. It feels like staring into the sun, and yet I'm strangely captivated by her. She tilts her head, the tinkling of metal. Sorry, the tinkling word took me off guard. Of metal riding the wind. Do you need help? Sure I do. I'm unsure how to respond. The air is charged with mysterious energy, as if each of my words is worth its weight in gold. On the off chance she can help me, I might as well be somewhat truthful. I do, but wanting it is another question. Dude, I can't read anymore. The giggle she makes is a chiming, fluttering sound. You're honest. I like that. She dips into a polite curtsy. My name is Iris. I was like you once, hopeless and alone. The ones in the tower won't help with your plan. I might be able to, though. I try not to dwell on the fact that I'm recognizably desperate. Instead, I focus on her vague offer as I descend the steps. You don't know what I'm looking for. You need what everyone needs in this world. A miracle. Iris turns and my thoughts abruptly scatter. Pitted skin snakes down her shoulders. Pitted skin? Blooming from a gaping hole in the back of her neck. A shuddering breath escapes me. The fuck? By the looks of it, some sort of disease ate away at her spine, leaving her with hollowed vertebrae. That's so sick. That's such a cool visual. How is she able to move or breathe? It's impossible. She shouldn't be alive, and yet. I only get a glimpse before she faces me once more, this time looking a bit bashful. I know it's not pretty, but that's not what matters. The sea spring can cure anything. It can cure you too. Her shining eyes flicked my bandaged hands, then up again. So quick, I nearly miss it. I stand there, wordless. It's a twisted miracle, but a miracle nonetheless. She extends a hand out to me, her delicate fingers outstretched. I can take you there, if you'd like. You can decide on your own when you see it. Her hand is frail, matted with tiny wounds. It's the epitome of vulnerability, the complete opposite of the cenobium's mocking, impenetrable gates. And if I say no, it's your choice. The truth is, I don't have much of a choice. Not right now, at least. I wonder if Iris knows that somehow. If there's any hope of finding a cure, I need to follow every lead, including seeing this sea spring for myself. I'll take her hand. I cautiously slide my hand into hers. Her skin is ice cold through my bandages. I wonder why. We descend from the higher streets, abandoning their gilded decadence as we cross the river. The wet, derelict streets hold more familiarity for me. However, Iris leads me farther still, until I'm met with an all too familiar sight. My gut lurches when I face the open horizon. The sea spring is straight ahead. Iridia's outskirts are hardly recognizable in the daylight, but venturing beyond city walls is a gamble I wasn't prepared to take so soon. I shake my head and pull away from Iris. I'm not leaving the city. She circles in front of me with a placating gesture. Don't be scared. I promise you it's alright. You're as safe inside the city as outside of it, and this stretch before you is the safest of all. She casts a wistful gaze out over the wastes, as if admiring something beyond the vista. This region belongs to Ace. Some call him a gang leader, but he's much more than that. It's difficult to string my thoughts together. Only a fool would leave the city, but a primal instinct tells me that Iris isn't lying. She twirls around with another curtsy, jewelry twinkling playfully in the sunlight. Her doe eyes soften with a smile. As I said, it's your choice. Thank you for coming this far. I hope we meet again, Ivy. I blink, and she's gone. Confusion grips me as I look around, searching for any trace of her. But I'm completely alone, with the vast nothingness of the wastes for company. Did I just imagine everything? Dot dot dot. No, the whole encounter was real. Again, that primal instinct insists on it, just like it insisted on Iris's honesty. The sea spring is straight ahead. If it managed to cure Iris, I need to see what it can do for me. I venture forth, nerves and determination roiling together in my chest. My heart pounds with each step I take from civilization. Gary, I wish you could feel the heart pumping. For what seems like an eternity, I force each foot forward, one step, then another, until a realization hits me. I never told Iris my name. Something pierces the horizon ahead of me, a building nestled into a tall cliffside. It appears so starkly out of place that it might as well be a hallucination, dripping with extravagance and adorned in honeyed mahogany. It's an ornate jewel of architecture. Dark silhouettes skirt it on both sides, trees, I think, until I'm close enough to realize that what I mistook for branches were spikes and jutting tendrils. Soulless, several of them watch me in the distance like statues. Flashes of last night chase me, the gushes of blood and screams of death, the smell of burning flesh and sour bile. I can't go through that again. I won't. Exploding into a messy sprint, I push my legs as fast as they'll take me toward the decorated building. The next thing I know, I'm dashing up wooden stairs and crashing through towering double doors. My lungs burn from exertion. I gasp for breath, desperate to be safe, but when I orient myself with my surrounding, it's more hellscape than sanctuary. This is so freaking cool. It got like a Japanese temple kind of vibe here. Blood flows all around me, overwhelming my vision with a lurid, unholy red. Instinctively, my hand leaps to my mouth, but the rotten stench of blood never comes. Instead, a smoky scent hangs in the air, sharp and spiced. I swallow thickly, convincing myself that it's not as gruesome as it appeared. This has to be the sea spring, the place that grants miracles. Tall pillars flank me, blanketed in written notes. Seating pillows scatter the floor. A rustic kettle sits nearby. Someone must live here, despite how eerily empty it is. Call out or stay silent? What do you think? I'll just stay silent, probably. I approach the paper-covered pillars. Maybe something here can tell me more. I reach for... Okay. All of these are going to give you different options, obviously. But I think that they're all in code. so I'll just go for the bottom one anyway. I reach for a note at the lower end. It reads, "They watch me through the mirrors. They won't stop staring. They know what I did, but they won't have me. I'm safe now. I'm safe now. I'm safe now." Yeah, and then we got code. People have deciphered this. You should look it up and see what it's deciphered as. But all of the notes are really interesting. Very world building. Okay. The writing deteriorates into unintelligible scrawl. Before I can ponder it further, a sharp chill runs down my spine. Something's watching me. I quickly set the note back, my eyes darting around to the wooden deck, but it's still empty. Finally, I look toward the sea spring. That stillness hides something deeper, something wrong. Hey. I spin around and come face to face with a pack of soulless. Oh my gosh, like lion. Oh my god. They chitter and growl, tendrils and spikes flaring threateningly. All different sizes and species, but sharing one identical trait, glowing crimson eyes. I try to back away, but my heel teeters over the sea spring. I'm cornered. Watch your step. It's deeper than it looks. That voice again. At the sound of it, the soulless freeze, their snarls quieting. Who is it? I search for the voice's source and find it above me, lounging in the rafters. This guy. You look lost, little sparrow. His gaze is a violent crimson, one that sears through me, leaves me feeling raw and exposed. They're the same eyes I've seen over and over, first with Iris, now with the soulless circling me, all bound by the sea spring's blood red. In the shroud of darkness behind him, shapes like massive tentacles twist and coil around the wooden beams. Dude, a dream. Monster effer's dream, guys. I can't focus. The soulless growls ring in my ear. They're not advancing, but that could change at any second. Panic rises in my throat as I struggle to track them. I'm predicting right now that this guy's gonna be fan favorite. If he's not already fan favorite and so many of the developers' favorite, people are gonna love him. They are they're gonna love him so much. Okay, hey! Eyes on me. My stomach rolls as I tear my eyes away from the soulless. I just feel like the whole time, once I hear the voice acting, I'm gonna be like giggling and blushing. I'm gonna be a mess. Don't ignore someone who's talking to you. It's not polite. For a moment, anger knocks my fear aside. Who is this bastard? I'm distracted. I'm gonna be mean to him. I think he likes that. I look right into his unnerving eyes and hold his gaze defiantly. Fuck you. Is that better? A crooked grin cracks across his face. We'll work on it. I scan the soulless again. They really aren't attacking, and are posturing more than anything else. It's as if they're waiting for commands. Did you tame them? Power of the sea spring. They're hungry, so they might bite. You could give me a reason to stop them. How about I didn't do anything wrong? Trespassing. And that's punishable by death? He gives a non-committal shrug. Expecting mercy was your first mistake. My voice stops in my throat. This bastard's terse coolness is both infuriating and terrifying. I rack my brain for a way to diffuse the situation. I need help. Tell me what you want. Well, obviously, I am seeking him. So, like, what is he gonna tell me? Okay, fine. I need help. I thought the sea spring could cure me somehow. My voice wavers pathetically. Honesty has never been my strong suit. He cants his head to the side, appraising me, but doesn't respond. I fidget nervously. I'm telling you I came here for help. Are you listening? Your hands. Alarm jolts through me. I hide my hands under my cloak. Show me. Why? Won't ask twice. With a sharp exhale, I reluctantly hold out my bandaged hand. Are you getting off on this? Unwrap them. Heat rushes to my face and fire to my tongue. I should give him a piece of my mind. but not when his soulless are one command away from ripping me to shreds. Yet no matter how much I will myself to move, my body stays frozen in place. I stand there for a long, agonizing minute. My hands are trembling when I finally raise them. I know the skin beneath the wrappings all too well, the hideous, unnatural flesh I've grown to despise. I grip the edge of the bandages. Stop. Gonna jump down. With a weary sigh, the man slides off the beam and lands with a thud that shakes the panels underfoot. He's a monster, tall and imposing, with a presence that commands the room like gravity. The lantern light sculpts his face in sharp, unforgiving lines. Subtle clinks of metal accompany each of his footsteps. The closer he gets to me, the faster my heart hitches. What does he want? Is he going to kill me? I step backwards. I I even feel like this guy is like the canonical choice. Like FMC, she loves him already. I find nothing to set my foot on. I'd forgotten my back was to the sea spring. I fall right before a warm hand catches my lower back. I'm hovering above the sea spring, the scent of smoke and leather enveloping me. Blazing eyes bore into mine. Told you to watch your step. I'm too stunned to muster a response. Like I weigh nothing, he guides me back to solid ground. Following a subtle gesture from his fingers, the soulless around us disperse and relax. The shift in their demeanor is so abrupt it gives me whiplash. The enormous tentacles are no longer in the rafters, though now I doubt I ever saw them at all. Either way, I let out a breath of relief. Thanks. As focused on me as he was before, the monster pays no attention to me now. He kicks some seating pillows out of the walkways, checks the contents of the kettle with a scowl. The sudden disregard is almost insulting. So, that's it? I'm not a threat anymore? Never were one. Then why do you threaten me? People get honest when they're afraid. In other words, he was messing with me. I drag a hand over my face, exhausted by the fact that this is the second time a monster has provoked me today. You're Ace, aren't you? Depends who's asking. One of your friends told me this was your territory. She also said you were a gang leader. But there's no one else here. I thought there'd be more people. Ace picks up the kettle, walks to the edge of the sea spring, and dumps the contents into the endless red. They took a walk. His pleasant smile stretches ear to ear. Then, in an instant, it drops. I get the sense that I shouldn't ask about that again. You said you came here for help. Depends. Can the sea spring cure a curse? Probably. You mean you don't know? Nope. He shakes out the empty kettle and starts collecting stray cups, tidying up. My frustration builds. I narrow my eyes at him in a questioning glare. When he notices, he returns it with an amused smirk. Are you being irritating on purpose? Listen, Sparrow, the sea spring can cure anything. Nothing stopping you from trying it yourself. What do I have to do? Drink. I have to drink from the sea spring? My eyes glide to the blood-like pool beside us. The idea of ingesting the liquid makes my guts churn. It's not as if I'm averse to elixirs or decoctions? I've made my fair share of them, but one misstep and you can easily meet with a fate worse than death. Is there a price? Always. Ace taps his temple with a finger. You lose it a little bit. That's it? Might already beat it to the punch. My humor earns me an amused, fanged grin. This is a little different. When you drink from the sea spring, you forget who you are. Your mind combines with everyone who ever drank before. Humans, monsters, soulless, one big, happy family in your head. My blood runs cold. I've heard of these before. Group minds. Some legends suggest that independent minds can be psychically linked together through a strong enough catalyst. It's never been done before. But something tells me this is real, even if one thing doesn't add up. Your eyes are red too, but you obviously haven't forgotten who you are. Before I can finish my sentence, Ace strides past me toward the entrance. Time's up. Let's finish this later. Wait, already? You barely told me anything. Came on a bad day. I've got somewhere to be. There are still so many questions burning on the tip of my tongue, but my frustration spills out before I can ask any of them. I was told to come here for help, but instead I get threatened and kicked out. You're joking, right? Watch your tone. I'm nice, but you don't want to ruin the host's mood. My skin prickles. The feeling of being watched washes over me again. My eyes dart back over to the sea spring. A lone ripple dances on the quiet surface. I take Ace's advice and clamp my mouth shut. Ace approaches a nearby soulless, a lanky dog-like one with 6 legs and a crown of tendrils. Several sets of red eyes adorn its sides. Its forked tail wags rapidly when Ace squats beside it. He runs his fingers through the tendrils, scratches its chin, and pats its head. A gentle smile plays across Ace's lips. The affection he holds for the soulless is painfully clear. I dip my eyes away, my stomach fluttering at the tender sight. It's getting dark out, so this pretty girl will guide you back. Following a short whistle from Ace's lips, it trots over to the entrance obediently, tail swaying. I watch the soulless warily. Pretty is not a word I would use to describe it, and the idea of it protecting me sounds absurd. If I decide to drink, how do I find you? Find someone with eyes like mine, they'll point you in the right direction. But think it over. Once you drink, you can't go back. It's a lot to process, but I give a small nod. At least I know I have another options for a cure, as disturbing as it may be. I follow the soulless at a measured distance and watch it nudge the giant doors open with ease. When I'm about to cross the threshold, I sneak one last glance behind me. My heart skips when I meet Ace's eyes. I'm about to slap my head away, but he just flashes me an easy smile. Till next time, Sparrow. I'll buy you a drink for scaring you. I don't trust myself to do anything but respond with another curt nod. Outside, more crimson-eyed soulless scuttle about. It's hard to believe it's the same threatening pack from before. They chase each other in circles, roll around in the bog's mud. They pay no attention to me as the dog-like one escorts me away. It's an uneventful trip. Sometimes the soulless looks over its shoulder at me to make sure I'm still following. They're not so spooky. Dusk darkens the sky by the time we reach the city. The soulless sits, canting its head at me with familiar crimson eyes. Wave at the soulless. You know, I have to pet the soulless. Who wouldn't pet the soulless? As nervous as I am, I carefully glide my fingers through the soulless's tendrils and scratch beneath its chin, just like Ace had. It pushes into my palm in response, rumbling with a sound akin to a purr. The vibrations are soothing, almost therapeutic. When it's satisfied, the soulless spins around and scampers back in the direction we came, vanishing into the darkness. I've just arrived in Iridia, but I've already encountered so many things I thought were impossible, tamed soulless being one of them. My head spins. Maybe I should call it a day. Girl. Nightfall creeps across the streets of Iridia. The city, labyrinthine even in daytime, has now become a warren of treacherous alleyways. The streets are completely deserted. If I hadn't been here earlier, I would have thought this part of the city abandoned. My steps slow when I hear rustling in the dark. I strain my ears, but everything is still. Is the silence playing tricks on me? I'm imagining things? I'll say I'm imagining. I take a deep breath, quelling an instinctive flicker of fear. I know my nerves are shot, but if I give in to paranoia and start running, I'll get lost. Though I keep my eyes sharp and listen intently, there is only the sound of my own footsteps. As the moments pass and nothing happens, I begin to wonder if I really did imagine that noise. I turn the next corner, and my thoughts become screaming to a halt. My head spins, the world blurring as adrenaline rushes through my veins. Only one thing is clear amidst the haze. The soulless that attacked the caravan. It's crouched over a dark, indistinct shape, a body. A garland of intestines spills from the pallid flesh. Blood grouts the cobblestones. Holding my breath, I take a step backward. When the wet, slurping sounds don't abate, I take another, then another. Then a shard of glass crunches under my heel. The world slows to a crawl as the soulless raises its head, blood dripping from its tendrils. Every single one of its sulphurous, bulging eyes fix unblinkingly on me. It's really here. It came back for me. Run! Only have one option to run. I wish I could fight it if I'm being honest, but like there's no way that I could have fought it. I'm off like a shot, running for my life through the darkened streets. Behind me, a piercing bay splits the silence, and heavy footfalls pound after me. My heart thunders in my chest. I take turns at random, trying to lose the solace in a maze of streets, but I can't seem to shake it. I can hear its breathing now, a wet, fluttering rasp growing closer and closer. The same claws that severed my arm swipe out. I duck, saved by pure reflex, and skid around a corner, only to freeze. A wall twice as high as me bars my way, a dead end. Behind me, the soulless looms. It's enormous, taking up nearly the entire width of the alleyway. Its long, claw-tipped limbs give it the advantage of reach. Fight back, try to escape. I kind of want to pick, like, what I'm not gonna pick in the actual game. I may be cornered, but I'm not just going to lie down and accept my death. Despite the trembling of my fingers, I unwind my bandages. Oh, no way. I don't think it's gonna work, but we don't really have a weapon anyway. I just need to touch it. If I can touch it with my uncovered hands, I can pacify it. With an ear-splitting shriek, the soulless charges at me. I duck under its first swipe, nearly losing my footing. Its talons break down, tearing the edge of my cloak. I see an opening and lunge. The soulless's talons open my arm from shoulder to wrist. For a moment, I don't feel anything. Then pain explodes up my arm and through my body. I reflexively flinch back. I don't get far. The soulless's tail whips out, catching me at the ankles and sending me sprawling to the ground. Desperately, I raise my good hand in an attempt to defend myself, but its foot comes down hard on my shoulder. The tendons give way, the joint dislocating with a sickening pop. With both arms useless, I can only watch, numb, as it descends on me. I wish I could say it was quick and painless, that someone came to help me. But in the end, my only escape is death. The end. No. I forgot that I could die. Crazy. Okay, it's just gonna restart me from that decision. Okay, as the soulless looms, I will try to escape. As the soulless prowls closer, my eyes dart from side to side, looking for an escape. The soulless is blocking the obvious way out, but right behind me, there's a rickety door that must lead to the adjoining building. If I can get inside, the soulless's size will hinder any attempt to pursue me. I whirl, grabbing at the handle. It turns completely, the hinges creaking as I push, and I feel a flash of hope, before a weight hits the door from the other side and slams it shut. The click of the lock turning is grimly final. In this wretched world, few people will stick their neck out to help their own flesh and blood, never mind a stranger. The soulless gives a rasping hiss. It's the only warning I get before it lunges for me with the flash of claws. I hurl myself to the side, but the slick cobblestones betray me. I fall, sprawling over the rough stone. As the soulless looms over me, I scramble away from it until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. It descends on me for the kill. Oh no, I died again. That's actually the end of the demo. But the impact never comes. Oh my gosh. Who saved us? I warily crack one eye open, then the other, not sure whether I should believe what I'm seeing. A hooded figure crouches in front of me, one blood-stained hand outstretched. Ooh, I love their eyes. Moonlight silvers the edge of their stiletto knife. Their face and hands are splattered with blood. In the solace, my eyes dart past my unexpected rescuer to the misshapen form behind them. The solace's many eyes, once restless and vibrant, now look dull and waxy. A red pool spreads slowly from under its body. Numb with shock, I can't help but stare. After all the people it's killed, after nearly killing me twice, I can hardly believe it's dead. Well, I gingerly take the offered hand. The hunter's gaze dips to my bandages. Pale lips part on the brink of a question, then close again. With the strength belying their slight frame, they pull me upright. Knowing what I know about this guy, saying that they have a slight frame is crazy. I can feel the tension in their grip. Their fingers tremble like they want to pull away. It's a sensation I'm all too familiar with myself. Despite their obvious discomfort, they pause for a moment, pale eyes sweeping over me. Not going to fall? When I shake my head, they hastily let go and back off, wiping the blood from their face and hand. The hunter turns away from me, the heel of their boot hitting the Solace's gangly body. They lean over it, studying it intently. With their back to me, I realize that their hooded silhouette is familiar. I saw them outside the cenobium. Vestigial or functional? I'm startled out of my thoughts when they speak, but they aren't looking at me. Can't all be processed in the brain. Its occipital lobes would have to be enormous. In fact, I don't think they're talking to me at all. It sounds like they're trying to figure out how the Solace was able to process input from so many eyes at once. I can't say I expected to be rescued by someone who seems more than passingly familiar with neurology. Ooh, I am gonna suggest my own theory because of the background that I chose. I used to sit and talk with my teacher for hours. It's all too easy for me to slip back into that old habit. What if it had a distributed nervous system? They nod absently, still engrossed in their examination. Possible, or maybe the sensory input from the additional eyes is rudimentary. Do you think they only track motion? They cut themselves off so sharply, I can practically hear their brain catching up to their mouth. They whip around, wide eyes landing on me. Sorry, did I say something wrong? No, I just didn't expect. It's been a while since I've had someone answer, that's all. They clear their throats, straightening up. Most people would have run off by now. So, do you need something? It doesn't seem like they're interested in discussing that Solas's nervous system any further. Too bad, they almost seemed approachable. Oh my gosh, I like this guy so much. I really like their design. I saw you at the cenobium. I wanted to thank you. I saw you. I saw you at the cenobium earlier. Do students there usually go Solas hunting at night? I wouldn't know. I'm not a student. Obviously, they're not a student. Why would they try to break in if they were a student there? But um, I really like the design of their eyes. Do you like? I don't. Oopsie. I, I didn't know I could do that. I just fast forwarded with my scroll button, my scroll wheel. But their eyes have like rings in them, and I really like their design a lot. But I'm not one to go for. I think it's Sundering. I'm not one to go for characters like that. So a teacher then. They might look a bit young for that, but my own teacher used to tell me about how she became a Cenobium lecturer as a teenager, so it's not impossible. No. Then what were you? Before I can finish my question, they interrupt me. What are you thinking traveling alone at night? Look at this face! They're so cute! If I don't play this like 3 times, I'm gonna have to watch somebody romance this guy. This is far from the worst thing haunting Lowtown. I can't make heads or tails of them. First they save me, and now they scold me? Lesson learned. I could do without the lecture, though. To my surprise, they break eye contact. They frown, though their disapproval doesn't seem directed at me. I feel like they have the most sprites in this demo. Like, the angles keep. Maybe not, I don't know. If you're not going to run off screaming, you might as well wait until I'm done. Their attention glides back to the Solace's corpse. They examine it with an inscrutable expression. I clear my throat to fill the silence. I'm Ivy. Min. Love the name Min, too. All of the names of these characters are so cool. I mean, Ace is kind of basic, but it's spelled special, so it's okay. Suddenly, Min tenses, their blade flashes as they drive it into the base of the Soulless's skull, right between the cervical vertebrae. The Soulless thrashes once, letting out a rattling hiss as the air leaves its lungs. Min leans on the blade, driving it deeper and deeper, until there's a sickening crunch, and the creature goes limp. My heart thuds in my chest. It must have been clinging to life by a thread. Min straightens up, withdrawing their blade in a single smooth motion. Better to put wretched things like this out of their misery. They calmly clean the blood from their knife. Min struck the creature with surgical precision. Their quick, clean movements remind me of my dissection lessons. But I've never seen that kind of knowledge used to kill before. Are you some kind of scientist? Why is a soulless inside this city? I'm gonna ask you this. I feel like they're studying their own monsterly affliction. But that's probably why they know. Are you some kind of scientist? Min stops mid-motion, lifting their head to stare at me. This is such a cute face. I love their faces. You know exactly where to strike. Have you studied anatomy or medicine? Also, they're using a lot of big words, like, I don't know, not quite. Why is a soulless inside the city? Min looks at me, eyes searching before realization dawns. You're new here. There's no walls around the city. Soulless can come and go as they please until someone is contracted to stop them. The Cenobium's patrols don't bother to protect Lowtown. Not anymore. Let me guess, you're not a fan of the Cenobium. I wouldn't go that far. Either way, it looks like I owe you. Min's brow abruptly furrows, and they sheathe their knife, motioning for me to follow. It's not safe here. The vultures can smell death. I'm not quite sure what they mean, but I don't want to stay lost in this city. I trail behind them as they stride down the street. If it's so dangerous, then why are you helping me? I came here for the bounty on that Solus, and you were in the way. Not killing you isn't the same as helping you. Don't count on being so lucky again, or you'll be dead by sunrise. Their answer is stingingly harsh. You know what? Fine. I just need to find my logic. I hold my hands up, trying to forestall any more snippy comments. Alright, I get it. I'd love to get out of your way, but I'm sort of lost. I just need directions back to my lodgings. Their brow furrows slightly. They open their mouth, and for a moment I could swear they look regretful. They sigh and shake their head. It's too dangerous at this hour. I'll take you to wherever you're staying. I wasn't expecting to get directions, given their attitude. When they realize I'm staring, they look away with a huff. It'll be faster, that's all. I have a room at the Wet Wick. At the name, Min's face falls. That gaudy cesspit. Not a fan? It's full of drunks and idiots. What do you think? True, it doesn't seem like their kind of place. Well, that's where I'm staying. Are you taking back your offer? Min exhales sharply and shakes their head. This way. Dude, I think I was saying, wasn't I saying earlier how I think that Ace is sort of the canonical choice? I feel like Min, their backstory and everything that I know about Min is like really interwoven with the plot and everything. Like, you know how in Baldur's Gate 3, Shadowheart, like her backstory is super intertwined with the actual events of the game that you're playing. I feel like Min is this game's Shadowheart. I feel like they're gonna be written to like in what my character needs to do is I think gonna be similar to what Min is kind of doing. So I'm also really interested in Min, but I don't know if I would romance them. Min's route is completely different from my slow, early morning meandering. Their steps are swift and sure, even though all the streets blur together in the dark. You know this city pretty well. I grew up here. I think that's the first thing they've told me voluntarily since we met. Was it always like this? Min's gaze wanders, dragging along the dingy building. I struggle to decipher their expression. Regret? No, Iridia was never perfect, but it used to be a place worth living in. I can't make heads or tails of Min's answer. Iridia is the last bastion of humanity in this wasteland. Where else is worth living? The wet wick's not much further now. In no time at all, the shadowy alleys of Lowtown give way to brightly lit avenues and crowds of lively people. Like, I am stumbling over my words. It's as if the city has poured into the Amaryllis district. Colorful streets. The Amaryllis district's colorful streets. Laughter, clinking glasses, and music assault my ears from every direction. Yet most of the noise comes from the wet wick. Its doors hang wide open. Bright lanterns frame a tall and familiar figure. Ivy and Min, I see? Dude, can I romance both these people? Maybe put both the guys together and be a throuple? They're also, like, they're not friends, but, like, they're basically friends. Like, can we just be a throuple? It's hard to say which of us is more surprised. You know each other? Min is a freelancer who has done a few errands for me. They are quite reliable. A freelancer who wields a dagger like a scalpel? There must be more to that story. Though I can't say I remember you ever escorting travelers. Ivy nearly walked into the jaws of a soulless. I thought bringing her here would be less trouble. Ah, if you're staying here, I take it Leander was able to help you. As it happens, I was also headed in that direction. Shall we? Ugh, fine. He still owes me for yesterday's work. Min drags their feet, reluctantly trailing me into the tavern. I love them. I love both of them together, dude. Oh my gosh, I don't think that either of them would be open to that. As soon as the doors open, a wave of sticky heat rolls over me. In the hours since I left, the wick has grown suffocatingly crowded. Kurosh stands a tall header than most. Even so, I nearly lose sight of him amidst the sea of swarming bodies. Pardon me. As if on cue, the crowd parts. Kurosh glances over his shoulder at Min and me before gliding through. How can anyone breathe in here? Min follows at a clipped pace. Behind the bar, Leander holds a pair of shot glasses brimming with luminous green liquid. And now for the finishing touch. A flash of magic paints the glasses white with frost. You'll never guess what's in these. He slides the glasses across the counter, and I get my third and fourth shocks of the evening in a rapid succession. Ace leans against the bar, an elbow propped up on the counter. He catches the glasses and lifts one to the light before turning it upside down. The contents, magically congealed, stay firmly in place. You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you're wasted already. Veer, perched on the counter beside Ace, looks at the shot glass and shakes his head. What have we here? A bucket full of boogers? Leander's nose treasure? You've eaten worse. Veer's lips twitch as his ears flatten when offered a glass. Ace snickers. Coward. I love the character dynamics. Oh my god. Don't tell me you're actually... In one fluid motion, Ace throws his head back and downs the shot, drinking that. A dark look crosses Ace's face. It's chewy. Chewy. Wait, let me try that again. Behind me, Min grumbles. I told you this place was a nest of degenerates. If it isn't Karash and Min. At the sound of Leander's voice, Min's pale eyes grow wide. They look ready to bolt until Karash sets a hand on their shoulder. This will not take long, I promise. Min's eyes dart from Karash's hand to his face, then soften. Fine, you first. See, Min has a soft spot for Karash. I don't know, the dynamics, so good. The dynamics are so good. They're so interesting. While they step forward, I linger behind, struck by a sudden revelation. All of the people that I've met recently know each other. Good evening, Leander. Ace. Another drinking competition, I presume? Is it evening already? Just some friendly rivalry, Doctor. No need to be alarmed. Krosh acknowledges Leander and Ace with a slight nod, ignoring Veer entirely. Not that Veer seems to mind. He tilts his head, lips curving into an impish smile when he spots Min brooding behind Karash. I almost didn't see you there, Min. Looking for your booster seat? Min pushes their hood back and levels Veer with a cool look. I thought pets weren't allowed in here. Veer's eyes narrow. Oh my gosh. I love this. At the first sign of an impending fight, Leander vaults over the counter. Let's try and keep the peace. It's not every day the esteemed doctor takes us up on a drink. His arm snakes around Karash's shoulders. You are finally taking me up on that drink, right, Karash? I'm afraid not. We were merely escorting Ivy back to her lodgings. Karash gestures in my direction, and my stomach sinks. I reluctantly step into the light. Leander's face brightens as soon as he sees me. Ivy, it's been too long. Everyone, this is Ivy. She's new to Iridia. I feel 4 pairs of eyes fixed on me, and suddenly the bar seems suffocatingly small. My voice nearly catches in my throat. Hi again? Hi everyone. Again. Again? You've met? Ace and Veer regard me with subtly amused expressions. We did, not that long ago either. To think we'd cross paths once again, it must be fate. I roll my eyes. Veer looks far too pleased with himself. I love the teasing that Veer does. This calls for drinks. I'm buying. All eyes turn to Leander, freeing me from the burden of attention. I still can't believe they all know each other. Watching them talk amongst themselves is surreal. But for the first time since I undertook the journey to Iridia, I feel a faint glimmer of hope. I know I was meant to meet them. The low, pleasant rumble of Leander's laughter pulls me from my restless thought. I've got to admit, I'm surprised. You make friends fast, Ivy. I wouldn't go that far. We're more like acquaintances. A wise man once said that acquaintances are merely friends you haven't shared a drink with yet. A wise man? You said that here, last week. Min's lips curl with distaste, but Leander continues unperturbed. Let's toast to Ivy's health. Care to join in, Doctor? Kurash politely declines with a wave of his hand. How about you, Min? No. Are you? No. A resounding pop pierces the din of the bar. We all turn to find the bartender pouring champagne from an old bottle, its label worn blank. He hands the drink to Veer. When did they start serving champagne here? Veer pauses to lick the foam from his fingers with a coy smile. You don't mind, do you? In a blink, the concern on Leander's face vanishes. No, be my guest. While chuckling, Leander shoots the bartender a questioning look. Completely disinterested in his company, Ace cants his head at me with a light smile. How about you, Sparrow? I did say I'd buy you a drink. No, my treat. Ace regards Leander over the rim of his glass. In the dim light, the glint in his eyes looked downright dangerous. What'll it be, Ivy? I'll take a drink. I'll take you up on that drink, as long as it's not one of those green shots. Don't knock them till you tried them. They taste better than they look. Somehow, I doubt that, but I hold my tongue. Min and Karash drift toward one end of the bar. Both seem eager to leave at a moment's notice, and neither has ordered anything. Ace and Veer linger. Several glasses stand empty between them, and the two show no signs of slowing down. Oh, we'll go with Ace and Veer or Min and Karash. We're gonna go Ace and Veer if I'm gonna be romancing Karash. Yeah, we'll go with them. Ace's eyes meet mine in a flash of red. He gives a smile that's too wide to be reassuring. Don't worry, Leander's more likely to slip poison into my drink than yours. Excuse me? He considers his cup, a tumbler of amber-colored whiskey. Leander's tried to kill me 12 times by now. It's always a gamble. Veer looks my way with a half-lidded gaze softened by his third glass of champagne. If I were you, I wouldn't let Leander put anything in my mouth. He grins, he grins, revealing the sharp, white tips of his fangs. The Wet Wick is one of Iridia's finest drinking establishments. Allow us to treat you to the best this city has to offer. May I interest you in the signature watered-down drink or perhaps some stale nut leather? He gestures at a chipped ceramic bowl filled with spindly speckled jerky that I can only assume is nut leather. What is with the food in this city? If this place is as foul as you say, how come it's completely packed? It's not all bad. Depending on the day, the food's edible. Ace takes a measured sip of his drink. Gotta stick around for the real attractions, though. Before I can respond, Leander turns with a tumbler and sets it in front of me. A strip of orange peel bobs in a pool of thin, red alcohol. I sniff the drink. To my relief, all I smell is the sweet scent of pomegranate, with an undercurrent of fermented fruit. Relax, it's just the local specialty, pomegranate wine. Although, if you're feeling more adventurous. I shake my head. Leander wraps his knuckles against the bar until the group falls silent. Alright, everyone, let's toast. May Ivy stay in Iridia be full of bright adventures and discoveries. Cheers! Leander, Ace, and Veer raise their glasses in unison. Min only crosses their arms, and Krush watches with polite indifference. I tip my drink back. The wine is eye-wateringly strong. Despite a sharp, bitter edge, it goes down smoothly. One sip softens the edges of my visions. The next fades the din of the crowded bar into a low, persistent murmur. I find myself unwinding for what feels like the first time in years. Is wine? Wine would not be my choice. Like at a bar especially, do people like drink wine at bars? I mean they have to, but I've only ever had wine at like weddings, and it's disgusting every time. Aren't you the popular one, Ivy? You must have met Crush first. It would be more accurate to say that I found her. You saved my life. I merely performed my duty as a doctor. Although I'll admit I was confused when I woke up naked. Leander, Leander makes a choked noise. Somewhere behind him, Min sighs. It's not what you think. Ivy was in grave condition. I could hardly treat such injuries through tattered clothes. The silence that follows stretches uncomfortably long. I look away, unable to face Crush's disappointment and catch Veer snickering behind his hand. That's my cue to change the topic. Crush isn't the only one who saved me today. Don't you listen? I didn't save you. You were simply there. That's Min for you. Leander reaches for Min, but they duck under his arm with practiced ease. As reliable as they are moody. You're one to talk considering you neglected to warn her to stay off the streets at night. What? Of course I warned her, I think. Min's only response is a short breath. At any rate, I never got a chance to thank you, Min. Don't. The less soul is alive, the better. Min's eyes flick toward Ace, and their lips twist. Ace is too busy nodding along to Veer's enthusiastic pantomime of stabbing to notice. I've had enough of this hellhole. Let's go. Min and Crush share a brief look, then the doctor speaks up. Very well, but there's something that I must discuss with Leander, if you'll excuse us, Ivy. And just like that, the three of them depart, leaving me alone to savor my drink in silence. Or so I think, until I hear a voice so soft and low, it's practically a purr. Lost your tour guide? I am so excited for the voice actors. I turn to find two pairs of slit eyes trained on me. It's not lost on me that Ace and Veer choose to pounce the instant others left. Of course I'd be stuck with the two most irritating people I've met all day. Monsters or not, there's no telling what I'll do if either of them push me again. Okay, I just have to say that these two guys, they are occasional fuck buddies. Is that not crazy? Like if you're gonna I was talking about Crush and Min, but if you're gonna be sandwiched between any of these characters, it's gonna be these two guys. Anyway, don't tell me Leander already snuck out back to get his knob slobber. Oh my god. Don't tell me Leander already snuck out back to get his knob slobbered. He's got business with Karash and Min. 2-on-1 business, huh? Lucky. See what I was saying? It could. I'm not gonna say it. You know what I'm thinking though. I can't tell if it's the champagne or the company, but Veer has grown noticeably more relaxed. He sits with his chin propped on the back of his hand. His tail sways lazily. Why are you so far away? Come, join us. He pats the empty bar stool beside Ace, but I hesitate. The smile Veer wears is sweet and distinctly sly, and with drinks in the mix, I dread how he and Ace will mess with me next. We don't bite. I'm not so sure about that. You already tried to rob me, and you threatened me. Me? Steal? You must be mistaken. You sure it was me? Yes, it was you. And then you had the gall to kick me out so you could go drinking. Ace gives another one of his shrugs. Had to give you a reason to come looking. Miss me already? I stare at him flatly, unimpressed by his deflection. Fear suddenly leans toward me, gossamer sleeves pooling where he rests his elbows on his knees. Ace sets his hand on Veer's waist, narrowly preventing him from tipping off the counter. I'm afraid we got off on the wrong foot. How about we start fresh, huh? Begin with proper introductions and whatnot. I'll start. The name's Veer. I'm a soulless hunter of no small renown. Veer's hand flutters to his chest, and he bows his head, flinching when hair falls over his eyes. Ace doesn't say anything, so I suppose it's my turn now. You already know my name, or is it V? It's Ivy. Veer considers me for a long moment, his tail idly swaying behind him. Then he knocks back the rest of his champagne. It's a pleasure to formally meet you, Ivy. He says my name slowly and deliberately, savoring every syllable. A tingle jumps down my spine. I quickly turn my gaze away. Ace smirks at my reaction. Is something funny? No. I open my mouth and close it just as quickly. They want me to react, goading me into another ridiculous game. While their sharp cat-like eyes keep me on edge, something about this tension is fun. I would be playing along, come on. It must be the wine. A flash of white over Ace's shoulder catches my eye. Across the bar, Karash heads for the door. I don't see Leander or Min, but it feels wrong to let the doctor leave without saying goodbye. I'll be back. Veer grins and waves at me as I leave. I slip through the crowd, careful not to touch anyone, but just as I'm nearing Karash, Gah! I stagger, shoulder checked by a man with a neck as twice as wide as his head. He stares down at me, nostrils flaring. Out of my way, shit stain. My words fell out on their own. Watch it. I regret them as soon as they leave my mouth. That fucking wine. The lowlife wheels around, shoving an adder out of the way so he can close in on me. What did you say? He shoves me backward, sending me stumbling to the sticky floor. I'm fine, but my heart leaps into my throat when I see him bearing down on me. You trying to start something in here? Save me, somebody. One of my love interests, please save me. The lowlife freezes, his fist cocked back. A group of adders circle him, sizing him up. For what feels like an agonizingly long time, the lowlife looks from me to the adders. Finally, he sniffs and spits on the floor next to me. The wad narrowly misses my neck. Screw it, too many freaks in this circus tonight. He turns his back on me and comes face to face with Ace. I love a bar fight. He gives the lowlife a dangerous smile. You'll do. What happens next is a blur. Ace's fist crashes into the man's jaw, causing a frenzy of gasps, shouts, and even cheers. I love that he was just looking for a fight. Like it's not all like, oh my gosh, I'm a damsel in distress, come save me. Like he was looking for someone to fight and he just found somebody. So I scramble to my feet as the frantic crowd swarms around me. Through the ruckus, I hear Leander shouting, "Take it outside, Ace." Everyone, drinks are on me. With that, the wick erupts in hoots and cheers. The ring around me disperses as adders and onlookers rush toward the bar. Through the thinning crowd, I catch glimpses of familiar faces. Ace vanishes out the back, dragging the lowlife behind him. Karash lingers near the door, searching, I suspect, for any wounded before he depart. Min draws their hood up tight as they duck out a side door, while Veer leans over the counter to swipe a glass of wine from behind the bar. And Leander, seated at the opposite end of the bar, gestures dramatically and apologetically at the bartender. In a heartbeat, I realize there's no telling when or if I'll see any of them ever again. Whoever I pursue may be the last person I get to speak to tonight. I follow. Okay, I I've seen all of their routes. I'm just there's Ace Crush, Min, Veer, Leander. I'm gonna go with Min. I feel like Min is a less popular choice. I could be totally wrong, but I'm gonna go with Min. I can't let Min slip away so easily. They might be the most standoffish person I've met so far, but they're the only one who seems somewhat neutral on the Cenobium. Exactly. They seem intertwined with the plot. My gut tells me that they know more about the tower than they're letting on. By the time I make it out of the bar, Min's already halfway down the street. Drawing my cloak close to ward off the chill, I hurry after them, but at this hour, the Amaryllis district is full of caracers. While Min slips through the crowd with surprising agility, I struggle to keep pace. The edge of their cloak flutters as they round the corner. Determined to catch up, I take the same turn into a dim side street. Ooh, oh, but Min is nowhere to be seen. I thought we were gonna, like, get bumped up in an alleyway together. Didn't you learn your lesson earlier? I nearly jump out of my skin, whirling to find Min behind me. They don't even look ruffled. They fold their arms, pointedly staring me down. I thought nearly getting eaten would have taught you that being out alone at night is dangerous. What about you? I'm not alone, am I? I'm not alone, am I? It's a good thing I'm not alone then, isn't it? Min looks at me in blank confusion for a moment before realization dawns. Are you always so persistent? I don't really know how to read them. They shift between aggressive and hesitant without warning. I have no idea how to tell which way they'll swing. But I can't help feeling a little thrill when pink sweeps across their cheeks. Exactly. I kind of have to be. It's how I stay alive. Min recovers their composure quickly, mouth shifting into a frown. They glance away, eyes scanning the street. Their gaze lingers on a particular building, another tavern, before they look back at me. You've been lucky so far, but it won't last. Nobody in this city is trustworthy. Not even you? Especially not me. I've met clams that opened up more willingly than men, but even if they don't talk about themselves much, they must have opinions on. We don't know anything about Karash. Maybe men will know something? You and Karash seem to get along, though. The tense lines of Min's face soften. He's an exception. Few people are willing to help others, fewer still when there's any risk involved, and of them, Karash is unique. I have a feeling that Min doesn't smile often, but the curve of their lips, however slight, is unmistakable. They, they catch themselves, eyes glazing over with feigned indifference. He's not the worst, a decent doctor, even if he asks too many questions. But nothing in Iridia is free. Unique is one way to describe Karash's work. Unconsciously, I grip my stitched arm where the soulless severed it. Min glances at me almost knowingly. The only one of its kind, not replicable by anyone else, is a fitting word. I wonder what injuries Crush has healed for Min, and whether they know how he does it. But if they did, I doubt they'd tell me. I'll just say that's enough. Doors being open at the end of the street, light and laughter pour out of the tavern, followed by a group of giggling people in white uniforms. Cenobium students, having a night out on the town. Min hesitates, only for a moment before they start down the street after the student. When I follow close on their heels, they grimace, speaking through gritted teeth. Why are you still following me? I don't know how much more Min will tell me, if they'll tell me anything at all, but I have to ask. They're the closest thing I have to a lead. Ahead of us, the students pile into another bar. Min ducks into the alley next to it. If nobody in the city is trustworthy, what about the cenobium? The line of their narrow shoulders abruptly tenses. They lift their chin, giving me a wary look. You're a stubborn one, aren't you? Kurash must have warned you about the nature of Iridia's currency. Right. Information and secrets. I fidget, uncertain. I don't trust Min's mercurial moods, and clearly there are things they aren't saying. Their eyes dip toward my hands, passing over the bandages like a razor. That steady gaze is full of keen-edged possibility. I shiver, hastily shoving my hands into my pockets. They frown, but their eyes drift away from me to the window of the bar next to us. It's opaque, either frosted glass or caked in dust, but some of the warm light diffuses out into the alley. The cenobium is a place of learning. If someone has questions that can't be answered anywhere else, the cenobium might have the solution. Or at least, that's how it was, once upon a time. These days, its doors are closed to outsiders. That's about what I expected after being shooed off earlier. Just as I start to relax, they speak again. Whatever you're looking for there, the cost may be higher than you're willing to pay. The sheer hypocrisy of their words tick me off. What gives you the right to talk when you're doing the same exact thing as me? What questions are you asking that only the cenobium can answer? That's personal. So there is something Min's looking for at the cenobium. I suppose that makes two of us. If they're following groups of cenobium students around, they must not be having much luck either. Everyone else seems to fear or hate the cenobium, but you don't. They flinch, spurred by curiosity and lingering annoyance. I press forward. You must know something about them, something you haven't told Leander or Karash. But they're not letting you in, which means you're one of the outsiders. In the space between one breath and the next, Min closes the distance between us. Slender fingertips grip the front of my shirt, and they slam me against the wall with shocking strength. The force of the movement knocks their hood back, messy hair fluttering around their face. I'm standing on tiptoe. Min's lifted me nearly clear off the ground with a single hand. The realization sends an electric tingle down my spine. Before I but before I can begin to wonder what that's about, Min snarls in my face. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. The angry twist of their mouth draws my eyes down to the beauty spot at the corner of their lips. I can't stop staring at it. The marks incongruously delicate compared to their fiery gaze, their steel-boned grip, but then so is the rest of them. Neither do you. What's your fucking— I wanna give them attitude. What's your fucking problem? I've had enough. Maybe it's the tiring, fruitless day I've had, my two near-death experiences, or maybe I'm just sick of all these infuriatingly attractive strangers who won't tell me a damn thing. All I'm saying is I have only been looking at Min's lips. Like, did Ivy look at anybody else's lips? I don't think she did. Min looks pissed, but they hesitate. Maybe they didn't expect me to snap back. You give me information, then snap at me and shove me around. What are you trying to do? You're one to talk, stumbling around town and trying to get answers without giving anything in return. That's not how things work here, and it'll get you killed well before you figure out whatever's going on with your hand. I don't get angry easily. I can't afford to when a moment of carelessness could be fatal. But when Min mentions my hands, my temper flares hot. That's rich, considering your whole I don't have any friends bullshit. Realization strikes me like a thunderclap. You're not getting anywhere by yourself either, are you? But you can't make yourself ask for help. You're stuck, and it's your own fault. I brace myself, expecting Min to snap at me again. Instead, their eyes drop, their brow furrows in frustration, but the twist of their mouth is miserable. Their voice trembles almost imperceptibly when they speak. I know. This city only cares about what you can give, or what it can take from you. Information, power, connections. If you're an outsider here, nobody will help you. Nobody will even try. You don't belong anywhere. My heart thuds in my chest for an entirely different reason now. They seem suddenly very small, alone, like me, Min. Min jerks backward, releasing me so abruptly that I nearly stumble. Maybe they realized how close we were. Maybe they said too much. Press forward? Or let them go? Press forward. Determined not to let this go, I press forward. Min takes another step back, but this time they're the one with their back against the wall. Look, we both want something from the cenobium, right? But neither of us are going to get anywhere on our own. We could help each other. It's worth a shot, don't you think? Min sighs. They sound annoyed, but any real hostility seems to have gone out of them. You've made it this far already, I'll grant you that. But if you're looking for help, you should look elsewhere. If you stay too close to me, you'll get hurt. Before I could think of what to say, the tavern doors bang open again. The Cenobium students spill back out, considerably drunker. Their ranks seem to have swelled with other barflies. The group floods back into town toward that great tower rising moonward. As I'm distracted by the commotion, Min draws their hood up and slips away from me. I catch Min's eyes for just a moment, then they're gone, vanishing into the crowd. No, Min, don't leave me. Yeah, then you can pick whoever you want. It doesn't matter. It just gives you a little backstory. Min, the cursed outsider. Despite their cold nature and familiarity with violence, Min is just as desperate as you to get into the cenobium. You may be able to help each other, but they're keeping as many secrets as you. They claim they're dangerous, but could they be your only chance at getting into the cenobium? Sure, I'll go with this. See their eyes? Look at their eyes. It's like mesmerizing to look into them. Okay, thank you for playing. Demo's over. Awesome. That was awesome. I love this demo so much. Since I chose Min, I kind of wanted to sort of ask you like what your theories are on them. I feel like Min might be a werewolf. Like, is that like not a legit werewolf, but that he can transform into a wolf because spoilers for everybody's monster form. But Kurosh is an angel. He's like a biblically accurate angel, I'm thinking. Ace obviously has some sort of tentacle thing going on there. Veer is some sort of old fox kitsune type creature. Like he has to be collared. But I think he has a fox form. And then Leander, I don't know what Leander's form is. They're super, super secretive about Leander's monster form. And I don't know if he is gonna actually have a monster form. Like he might just be like he could just be like a shadow creature. I don't know. But I'm also not too sure on what Min's monster form is gonna be. But I feel like they're a werewolf. And I could be totally wrong. But a werewolf is also kind of similar to a fox. So I wonder if maybe Veer has always had a fox form and maybe the cenobium. Um, Min is obviously very smart. They know kind of sciency stuff. They know a lot of like doctor training under a Cenobia mage words, just like the backstory that I chose. So I wonder if the Cenobium turned them into a werewolf. That's just that's just me speculating though. I am so excited to actually find out more about these characters and I hope that I get to find out more about them even if I don't pick the romance route. I am going to end the demo here though. Thank you so much for watching this demo. If you remember me, if I still exist when the full game comes out, I am going to be playing it as soon as possible. I am going to eat the full game up so quickly. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!